Imagine a life where nothing disturbs your peace. Not people, not problems, not even your own thoughts. A life where you remain calm in chaos, silent when provoked, and grounded no matter what the world throws at you. That's the power of not reacting. And today, I'll take you through 10 powerful chapters that will teach you how to control your mind, master your emotions, and protect your inner peace. Stay with me till the end, because once you understand these lessons, nothing and no one will ever have power over you again. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Observe, don't absorb. One of the greatest forms of emotional mastery is learning to observe without absorbing. In a world overflowing with noise, opinions, judgments, and emotional chaos, most people are constantly reacting without even realizing it. But here's the truth, you don't have to. You're not here to carry other people's anger, their drama, their fear, or their emotional baggage. You are not a dumping ground. You are not a sponge. You are a conscious being with the power to choose what enters your mind and what bounces off. Just because you see someone angry doesn't mean you must become angry. Just because someone is negative doesn't mean you must match their energy. Protecting your peace starts by realizing that you can observe anything and absorb nothing. Imagine you are sitting in a quiet park. Birds are singing, people are talking, cars pass by, but you are still. You're not trying to stop the noise. You're simply not letting it into your inner world. That's awareness. That's power. This doesn't make you cold or distant. It makes you wise. You begin to understand the difference between empathy and entanglement, between listening and losing yourself. Energy is real and it's contagious. If you don't guard your emotional space, you'll spend your life feeling drained, confused, or reactive. Instead, be like a mirror. Reflect, but don't retain. Stay grounded like a mountain. Let the storm pass while you remain still. Someone's mood doesn't have to become yours. Their problem doesn't need to become your burden. When you learn to watch without attaching, to listen without absorbing, you create space between stimulus and response. In that space, peace is born, clarity lives, power grows, and you finally realize not everything deserves a reaction. Some things just need your stillness. Some people just need to be seen, not saved. So the next time someone tries to project their energy onto you, pause, breathe, remind yourself, this is not mine. Observe, don't absorb. Chapter 2. Control the first breath. The first breath you take in any stressful situation holds incredible power. It's the moment that decides the direction of your energy. Will you remain in control, or will you let the situation control you? The secret to mastering your mind lies in this single, simple act: controlling the first breath. When emotions rise and tension builds, there's a split second where you can choose how to respond. That brief moment is the difference between reacting impulsively and responding with intention. It's the gap where your peace resides. Most people don't even realize this. They get caught up in the rush of thoughts, the surge of emotions, and before they know it, they're swept away in the current. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can train yourself to pause, to breathe deeply, and to center your energy before responding. Imagine a wave crashing against the shore. The wave represents the emotions that rise in you: anger, frustration, fear. It's powerful, it's inevitable, but it's not the wave you need to focus on. What you need to focus on is the space between the wave and the shore. It's that moment of calm before the wave hits. That is your power. The first breath is the space between the wave of emotion and the reaction you choose. If you allow your mind to race, if you respond before you breathe, you risk being carried away by the emotional tide. But if you take a slow, deep breath in that moment, you break the chain of reaction. You regain your composure. You regain your power. The first breath is not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. It's the point where your mind, body, and spirit come together in perfect harmony. It's the pause that protects you, and in that pause, you choose who you want to be. You choose your response. You choose peace over panic. Think about it. Every time you choose to breathe before reacting, you practice control over your mind. You remind yourself that you don't need to get caught up in every storm. You are the calm in the chaos. The key is repetition. Every time you consciously breathe before reacting, you build a habit. You train your mind to respond with intention, not impulse. This simple practice, when repeated, can change your life. So the next time you feel your emotions rising, remember, control the first breath. Use it to center yourself, to regain control, and to choose how you respond. In that moment, you hold the power to shape your peace. You are in charge of your energy, and nothing can take that away from you. Chapter 3. Silence is a superpower. In a world that constantly demands your attention, where everyone has something to say and every moment is filled with noise, silence is an invaluable, often overlooked superpower. Silence is not the absence of noise. It's the presence of inner strength. It's the ability to pause, to breathe, and to remain unshaken while everything around you tries to pull you into its chaos. There's an ancient wisdom in silence. When you choose to remain silent in the face of conflict or chaos, you are not weak or passive. You are powerful. You are standing in your center, unperturbed by external circumstances. Silence is the ultimate act of self-control. It's not about suppressing your thoughts or emotions. It's about knowing when not to react. It's about mastering the art of observation without feeling the need to comment, defend, or engage. Imagine you're walking through a storm with gusts of wind and pouring rain, but in the center of it all, you're perfectly still. That's the power of silence. It allows you to stand firm while everything around you is in turmoil. Silence doesn't just protect your energy, it also gives you clarity. When you're not constantly reacting to the noise around you, you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. Your mind becomes a calm, clear lake, reflecting your true feelings and desires without the distortion of external influences. But most importantly, silence creates space for wisdom. When you stop speaking and reacting, you make room for insight. In the quiet moments, the answers to your deepest questions arise. The best decisions, the most thoughtful responses, and the wisest actions all come from a place of stillness. This doesn't mean you should avoid speaking altogether. Communication is important, but you must learn to speak with intention and purpose, not out of reflex or emotion. Silence teaches you that not every situation requires a response. Not every comment needs an answer. Not every provocation demands a reaction. In fact, the more you speak, the more you reveal your state of mind. Silence allows you to observe, process, and respond from a place of clarity rather than reaction. And when you master this art, you become untouchable. Silence is a shield. It protects your peace, shields you from unnecessary conflict, and guards your energy. It is not weak, nor is it passive. It is powerful, intentional, and deeply transformative. The next time you're tempted to speak out of anger, frustration, or defensiveness, remember, silence is your superpower. It is the moment where you reclaim your strength. It is the pause that allows your wisdom to guide your actions. So use silence as your tool, your defense, and your source of power. It's in the quiet moments that you'll find the greatest strength. Chapter 4. Trigger equals teacher. What if I told you that every time someone or something triggers you, it's not an accident? What if those triggers, the things that make you angry, frustrated, or upset, are not obstacles but opportunities? Opportunities to learn, grow, and evolve. Triggers are not your enemies. They are your teachers. They are the mirrors that reflect parts of you that need healing. When someone insults you, challenges your beliefs, or does something that irritates you, it's easy to believe the problem lies with them. It's easy to feel justified in your anger or frustration. But here's the truth. Your triggers are an invitation for self-discovery. They are the key to understanding what lies beneath the surface of your emotions. When something triggers you, it's not about the other person or situation. It's about you. It's about the unhealed wounds, the unresolved emotions, and the beliefs that live inside you. A trigger is simply a mirror showing you what still needs attention within yourself. It might be your insecurities, your past traumas, or your fears that are being activated. When you react emotionally to a trigger, you're being given a chance to observe your reactions and ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? What is it about this situation that is pushing my buttons? In that moment of pause, you have the power to decide whether you will let the trigger control you or whether you will use it as a tool for self-awareness. Every trigger is an opportunity for growth. The more you explore why something triggers you, the more you understand yourself. You begin to unravel the layers of your emotional responses, and in doing so, you uncover parts of yourself that need healing. This doesn't mean you should suppress your emotions or deny your triggers. It simply means that instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can respond with curiosity and self-reflection. The next time you find yourself triggered, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is this teaching me about myself? What part of me needs healing? In doing so, you shift from being a victim of your emotions to being the master of your emotional world. Triggers are not personal attacks. They are invitations to grow. They show you where your emotional work lies. They reveal the places where you still need to let go, heal, and transform. By seeing triggers as teachers rather than enemies, you can approach each emotional challenge with a mindset of growth and self-discovery. Instead of reacting to every trigger, you'll begin to embrace them as opportunities for profound personal transformation. So the next time something triggers you, remember, trigger equals teacher. Lean into the lesson, learn from it, and grow stronger. Chapter 5. Ego screams, wisdom whispers. The ego is loud, it's bold. It wants attention, validation, and to always be right. It thrives in drama, conflict, and the need to control. And when it's threatened, it screams. The ego wants you to react immediately, to defend, to prove yourself, and to assert your dominance. It's driven by fear, insecurity, and the need for external validation. But what if I told you that the true path to peace and wisdom lies not in following the ego's demands, but in listening to something quieter, something deeper, your inner wisdom? Wisdom doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It whispers. It's calm, quiet, and gentle, and it always speaks to you in the stillness of your mind. Unlike the ego, wisdom is not driven by fear or pride. It's rooted in clarity, understanding, and peace. The challenge is learning to distinguish between the loud, demanding voice of your ego and the quiet, steady voice of wisdom. When you feel triggered or emotional, listen carefully. The ego will scream at you to defend yourself, to lash out, or to justify your actions. But wisdom will whisper, asking you to pause, to breathe, and to respond with kindness and patience. The ego seeks to control, while wisdom seeks to understand. The ego wants to react, but wisdom wants to reflect. The key to peace lies in recognizing the voice of the ego and choosing to quiet it. It's not about fighting the ego or trying to banish it from your life. It's about seeing it for what it is, a loud, persistent voice that's often rooted in fear and insecurity. And when you recognize the ego's voice, you can consciously choose not to react to it. Instead, you choose to listen to the whisper of wisdom, which always guides you towards calm, clarity, in the highest version of yourself. It's in this quiet space that you will find your power. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to prove yourself. When you learn to quiet the ego's screams, you open the door to true wisdom. Wisdom doesn't seek attention. It doesn't need to be validated. It simply is. And when you align yourself with wisdom, you no longer feel the need to react impulsively. You respond with purpose, grace, and inner strength. The next time you feel the pull of your ego, the urge to fight, argue, or prove yourself right, pause and listen. Ego screams, but wisdom whispers. And in that whisper lies the true path to peace, understanding, and personal power. Choose the whisper. Chapter 6, Let Them Be Wrong. It's human nature to want to prove ourselves right. We all want validation for our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And when someone disagrees with us, there's a deep urge to defend, to correct them, and to make them see things our way. But what if I told you that the most powerful thing you can do is simply let them be wrong? Let them have their opinion. Let them believe what they believe. Let them be mistaken without needing to step in and correct them. Not everything requires your input. Not every disagreement needs your defense. In fact, the most peaceful and empowered people are the ones who understand the strength of silence and restraint. It's tempting to jump in and correct someone when they're wrong, especially if their mistake is affecting you. But here's the truth. You don't need to defend your truth to anyone. Your truth is yours. It doesn't require validation from others. In fact, the more you feel the need to defend yourself, the more you allow others' opinions to hold power over you. Let them be wrong. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Not every situation needs a rebuttal, and not every argument needs a resolution. Sometimes the most powerful response is simply no response at all. Think about it. When someone is wrong and they're holding on to their belief tightly, does your correction truly change anything? Often it only escalates the conflict. It deepens the divide. And most of the time, the other person won't even remember what they were wrong about. But you will remember the energy you spent trying to convince them. And that energy is better spent elsewhere. When you let someone be wrong, you also protect your energy. You preserve your peace by not engaging in unnecessary conflict. You stop giving away your power to trivial disagreements. By resisting the urge to correct others, you take back control over your own reactions. Instead of focusing on them, you focus on yourself. You decide what you believe. You decide what's important. You decide how to respond. Imagine how much peace you would feel if every time someone challenged you, you chose to walk away with grace and let them be wrong. Instead of getting caught in a spiral of defense, anger, or frustration, you would simply smile inwardly and carry on. This doesn't mean you should avoid standing up for yourself when necessary. It simply means that not every disagreement requires your involvement. Letting them be wrong is a choice of inner strength, a way of saying, I don't need your approval or validation. You have nothing to prove. And when you make this choice, you step into a deeper level of wisdom and emotional control. Let them be wrong. Protect your peace. Your energy is too valuable to waste on being right. Chapter 7, Shift from Fire to Mirror. In life, it's all too easy to get caught up in the fire. The anger, the frustration, the impulsive reactions. When someone insults you, betrays you, or challenges you, it's like a flame is ignited inside. Your instinct is to fight back, to fan the flames and to prove your point. But what if I told you that the most powerful response isn't to throw more fuel on the fire, but to become the mirror? Instead of reacting with anger, judgment, or defense, shift your perspective and reflect the situation back without adding to it. Mirroring is about holding up a peaceful, calm reflection in the face of chaos. It's the ability to see the situation clearly without becoming entangled in it. Think about it. When someone is angry or upset, they are projecting their emotions, their beliefs, or their insecurities onto you. They're throwing their fire toward you, but you don't have to catch the flames. You can choose to be the mirror instead. When you mirror a situation, you don't add to it or escalate it. You simply reflect what's happening without judgment or emotional attachment. It's about staying calm and composed no matter how much heat is coming your way. The beauty of being a mirror is that you don't absorb the negativity. You reflect it, but it doesn't change you. When someone tries to provoke you, instead of reacting, you remain grounded. You don't add to the conflict or let their emotions control your own. You become the neutral observer, unaffected by the chaos around you. This shift from fire to mirror is incredibly powerful because it removes the need for constant reaction. It allows you to stand in your truth and maintain your peace, no matter what's happening outside of you. Imagine how much control you would feel in a heated situation. Instead of getting caught up in the fire of someone else's anger or frustration, you simply mirrored back their energy with calmness and clarity. This is the key to emotional mastery. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending the situation doesn't affect you. It's about choosing how you respond. When you choose to be the mirror, you refuse to engage in the drama. You rise above the emotional fire and stand firm in your peace. The next time someone tries to ignite your anger or frustration, remember this. You don't have to fight fire with fire. You can shift from fire to mirror. Reflect, don't react. Be the calm in the storm. Be the peace that doesn't get disturbed by the flames. And in doing so, you'll master your emotions and protect your inner peace. Chapter 8. Guard your inner room. Imagine your mind as a room. This room is your sanctuary, your safe place, your calm within the chaos. It's the space where you go for peace, reflection, and clarity. But just like any room, it's vulnerable to outside influences. The noise, the negativity, the chaos of the world can easily seep in and disrupt your tranquility. The challenge then is to guard your inner room, to protect your peace from the outside world. Think about the people around you, the situations you face daily, the information you consume. Every one of these things has the potential to either nurture or disturb the harmony within your mind. Some people bring warmth and wisdom, while others bring toxicity and negativity. Every news story, every social media post, every conversation you engage in sends signals into your mind. And just like physical spaces need to be secured, your mental space needs to be protected. But how do you guard your inner room? The first step is awareness. Understand that your mind is a powerful space that influences your emotional and mental well-being. Just like you wouldn't allow a stranger into your home without permission, don't let negativity, judgment, or harmful energy into your mind without filtering it first. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your inner peace are precious. You are the guardian of your mental and emotional world, and it's your responsibility to protect it. One of the most important aspects of guarding your inner room is learning to say no. Saying no to negativity, to toxic people, and to situations that drain your energy is crucial. Not everything is worth your time, your energy, or your attention. When you recognize that something or someone is damaging your peace, you have the power to set boundaries. Set clear limits on what you allow into your inner space. This applies not just to people, but also to the media you consume and the environments you surround yourself with. Pay attention to what triggers your stress, anxiety, or anger, and take steps to minimize those influences. The more you protect your inner room, the more you'll find peace within yourself. Think about the moments when you feel at your best, when you are at peace, when you are calm and centered. Those moments happen when you've effectively blocked out the noise and distractions of the outside world. Your mental space is free from clutter, and your focus is clear. This kind of peace is not an accident, it's a result of conscious effort. The next step in guarding your inner room is learning to filter your thoughts. Not every thought that enters your mind needs to be entertained. Just because a thought pops up doesn't mean it deserves your attention or emotional energy. Often we allow our minds to wander into worry, fear, or frustration, but you are in control. You can choose which thoughts you want to dwell on and which ones you want to let go. This is an essential skill for maintaining peace. When you are able to filter your thoughts, you prevent yourself from being overwhelmed by negativity or anxiety. This gives you the mental clarity to respond thoughtfully to situations, rather than react impulsively. Guarding your inner room also means choosing your emotional responses carefully. It's easy to become overwhelmed by emotions, especially when life throws challenges your way. But instead of allowing emotions to control you, learn to respond to them. Recognize when you're being triggered and take a step back. Give yourself space to breathe and to think before reacting. The more you practice this, the more you'll find that your emotional state becomes your choice. Your inner room can be a place of calm, no matter what is happening outside. The final key to guarding your inner room is self-care. Just like you clean and maintain your home to keep it in order, you must care for your mind and soul. This means engaging in practices that nurture your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Meditation, journaling, exercise, time with loved ones. These are all ways to strengthen your inner room and keep it secure. Invest in yourself and your peace. When you care for your mind, you build resilience and fortitude. Your inner room becomes a stronghold, a place that can weather any storm. Guarding your inner room is a lifelong practice, but it's one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. As you learn to protect your peace, you'll notice that life's challenges become easier to navigate. The outside world may be chaotic, but your inner world remains steady. You become less affected by external circumstances and more focused on maintaining the peace within. Remember, you are the guardian of your mind. You have the power to choose what you allow in and what you keep out. Protect your inner room, and you will find that nothing and no one can disturb your peace. Chapter 9. Detach or be dragged. In life, you'll encounter many situations and people that will try to pull you into their drama, their negativity, their chaos. It's like a strong current in the ocean, trying to drag you under. The key to avoiding this? Detach. Detach from the things, the people, and the emotions that seek to pull you down. Imagine you're in the middle of a stormy sea, and the waves are crashing all around you. The more you fight against the current, the more exhausted and overwhelmed you become. But if you let go and allow yourself to float with the current, something incredible happens. You're no longer fighting. You are no longer being dragged under by the chaos. Instead, you are allowing life to flow through you without resistance. The same is true for your emotional and mental state. When you resist negativity, when you cling to certain outcomes or expectations, you are like someone fighting the current. You will only drain yourself in the process. But when you detach, when you release your grip on the need for control, you will find peace. Detachment isn't about indifference. It's not about shutting yourself off from the world or becoming emotionally numb. It's about letting go of your attachment to things and people that disrupt your peace. When you detach, you are no longer emotionally invested in the outcomes, the judgments, or the actions of others. You recognize that you cannot control everything and everyone around you. You only control how you respond. Let's be honest. How often do you allow external circumstances to dictate your emotional state? When someone criticizes you, when things don't go according to plan, when life gets messy, it's easy to get swept up in the emotional whirlwind. But you don't have to be swept away. Detachment is the key to remaining calm and grounded in the midst of any storm. The moment you detach, you regain control over your own mind. You are no longer at the mercy of external events or people's opinions. You choose your response, not your circumstances. Think of detachment as a powerful tool for emotional freedom. Instead of being pulled into the chaos, you stand firm in your peace, unaffected by the turbulence around you. This doesn't mean you become cold or distant. It simply means that you stop allowing external circumstances to define your emotional well-being. When you detach, you free yourself from the need to control or change others. You release the desire to force outcomes, to argue with people, to justify your actions. You simply let go and allow things to unfold naturally. Detachment allows you to see things as they are, not as you want them to be. It enables you to respond with clarity and wisdom, not impulsivity and emotional reactivity. One of the biggest traps we fall into is attachment to outcomes. We get so focused on achieving a certain goal, on having a specific result, that we lose sight of the bigger picture. When you attach yourself too strongly to an outcome, you set yourself up for disappointment and frustration. Things rarely go exactly as planned, and when they don't, we feel let down, stressed, or defeated. But when you detach from the outcome, you are free to enjoy the process, to find joy in the journey, and to remain centered no matter what the outcome is. Detachment is your shield against disappointment. It is your armor that protects you from the emotional roller coaster that comes with constantly seeking approval or validation from others. The more you practice detachment, the less you allow external events to control your inner world. Imagine how powerful it would feel if you could walk through life without the constant need to react, to defend, or to prove anything. When you detach, you stop investing your energy in things that don't serve you. You focus your energy on what truly matters: your growth, your peace, your purpose. Detachment is not about becoming passive or uninvolved. It's about choosing where to invest your energy. It's about giving your attention to things that uplift you, that help you grow, that align with your values. By detaching from what drains you, you make space for what nurtures your soul. Detach or be dragged. It's your choice. The next time you feel yourself getting caught in the current of life's chaos, remember this: you don't have to fight the current. You don't have to be pulled under. By detaching, you regain control over your peace. And once you do, you'll find yourself rising above the turbulence, floating calmly, and moving through life with strength, clarity, and purpose. Chapter 10. Choose power over noise. The world around us is loud. There's a constant barrage of distractions, opinions, and noise. From social media, from people, from the endless cycle of news and gossip. It's easy to get lost in all of it, to become overwhelmed by the constant flood of information. But here's the truth: you don't have to listen to all of it. You have the power to choose what you focus on, what you let in, and what you block out. Choose power over noise. In a world that's constantly shouting for your attention, it's easy to feel like you have to respond to everything, to every comment, every opinion, every criticism. But you don't. Your energy is your most valuable asset, and every time you react to the noise, you're giving away a little bit of that energy. When you choose to focus on the noise, you're letting it control you. But when you choose power, when you choose to remain calm, centered, and focused, you reclaim your strength. You are in control. Think about the last time you found yourself lost in the noise. Maybe it was a social media argument, a heated conversation, or just an overwhelming flood of negative information. How did it make you feel? Probably drained, frustrated, or scattered. That's the effect the noise has on us. It pulls us away from our peace, from our clarity, from our power. But when you choose to disengage from the noise, you protect your mental and emotional energy. You create space for peace, for focus, for intentional action. This chapter might be shorter, but it's more powerful than ever. Choosing power over noise isn't about ignoring the world around you. It's about discerning what deserves your attention. You don't have to engage with every distraction, every negative comment, or every piece of gossip. Instead, focus on what moves you forward, your goals, your growth, and your peace. When you do this, you'll find that the noise fades into the background. You become less affected by the opinions of others, by the chaos around you. Imagine being able to walk through life with a calm, steady mind, unaffected by the noise. Imagine not being pulled into every argument, not being swayed by every opinion, not being dragged down by every piece of bad news. That's the power of choosing power over noise. You don't react to every little thing. You remain focused, centered, and in control of your own energy. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or disconnected. It simply means you stop allowing the noise to dictate your emotional state. You are the one who decides where to invest your energy. And by choosing power, by choosing peace, by choosing focus, you make sure that your energy goes where it matters most. In a world full of distractions, your ability to choose power over noise will set you apart. You'll become someone who remains calm in the storm, someone who doesn't react impulsively, but responds with intention and clarity. And that is the true power of mastering your mind. And there you have it. 10 powerful chapters on how to control your mind and master the art of not reacting. Remember, the key to peace isn't about changing the world around you. It's about changing how you respond to it. By learning to observe without absorbing, by controlling your breath, by letting silence be your strength, and by choosing power over noise, you reclaim control over your life. The world will always be full of distractions, challenges, and noise. But when you master these principles, you become the calm in the chaos. You become the one who moves through life with unshakable peace and focused intention, and nothing and no one will ever have power over you again. So I challenge you today, practice these lessons, make them a part of your daily life, and watch how everything begins to shift. If you found value in these teachings, subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Together we can create a world of calm, clarity, and power. Until next time, remember, true peace comes from within. Keep mastering your mind and stay grounded in your power. See you in the next video.